You're welcome back to the Situation Room on Citi TV. Polls generally work, unless if you're dealing with Donald Trump and the United States, then the polls failed. So it is a reason that we are using the polls, and the polls have coughed up 3 people to be the front runners of the NPP. So we are not being biased. We are just trying to analyze for you the top 3 people based on what the polls are looking like. So Alan Shematin, in no special order, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then Kenny Japon, MP for Asin Central. Where or which areas are their bases, Bernard? Who manages where?
It's very early because, again, the polls we've seen January into April, they show regional distributions. What is clear is that Bawumia has a lot of support in the north. When I looked at the numbers, in the 5 northern regions within NPP supporters, he is overwhelmingly the favorite, right? So that I can say. It would seem as if Alan would do much better in Ashanti and other southern regions, all right? Kennedy, we know, is pretty strong in the central region, all right? So for now, again, look, there's a long way to go.
But Ken is Ashanti, even though he's from central region as a constituent.
No, Kennedy is from Asin Dompim. He was born in Kumasi.
I said Asin people have been told that they are...
No, they are not. Asin is different from Ashanti.
So Asin is not...
Asin is the buffer between Fanti and Ashanti. When you are traveling from the Fanti land to Ashanti land, you go through Asin land.
So they are more Fanti than Ashanti?
No, they are not. They are neither.
They are just Asin.
You should listen to Kweku Dakwankra.
Okay. Okay.
So that's Asin. So my point is, what is clear is that Doc Bawumia is strong in the 5 regions of the north. When again, getting to the polls, you see that the only candidate who has over 50% consistently in a particular region is him. Okay? But when you come to the others, it's a bit sketchy. So let's come to the point you raised about who is supporting who. I think that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Alan, he talks about 1D, 1F. This is not what I want to talk about. Let's show you who is supporting who has declared for who, right? So far, we've seen 2 groups, the people who are around the candidate. So, Nano Hininto, former General Secretary, strong Alan. Yabu Abia Sama, former MP for Adenta, former Communications Director, strong Alan. He actually said yesterday on one of the stations that there was this attempt to whip people to vote for Bawumia. Ayiko is the Attorney General who took over after Akufo-Addo moved from Attorney General to Foreign Minister. Kufuor's second term. J. Ayiko. I interviewed him. Former ambassador to Canada. Very interesting man to talk to. Boniface, former MP for Medina, former MP for Salaga, minister for a number of portfolios under Zongo and Akufo-Addo. Catherine Abelema Afeku. These are all people around him. Okay? There are more.
We saw at his walk.
Yes, I'll come to the MPs. Frank Ejekon is there. Okay. I'm sure Anani will be there. I'm sure Kojo Mpieni will be there. So the Kufuor, in fact, Mama Pat, they call her. Indeed, when he went to Kumewu for his visit, I'm told that Patricia P.J., who is a former was also with him. So the Kufuor people, if you want,
are rallying around.
Yes.
And maybe people who may not be happy with the Akufo-Addo government or were dropped, would that also be a good analogy to make?
You can say that those who are not currently occupying key positions
in the Akufo-Addo government.
Yes, right. So these are the key people around him. For Dr. Bawumia, the key people around him, Asabi, of course, Minister for Chieftaincy now, Mustafa Hamid, former Information Minister, now the NPA boss. Sami Oku, I interviewed him 3 weeks ago where he said that he is Bawumia. Sami Oku, former national organizer, a position not to be told. Many were touting him to be general secretary. He decided I was going to go into running something instead of just doing policies throughout. Former first vice chair of the NPP, Fred Owari. And then Chairman Wontumi, a lot of people feel like Chairman Wontumi's strength in Ashanti is because when Akufo-Addo was trying to make inroads in Ashanti, he was one of the people who stuck his neck out for him. So he's built his base in Ashanti. So he goes with Akufo-Addo. And it seems like Akufo-Addo is going with Bawumia. He hasn't told us, but we know. So these are the people around him. Now, the other thing that makes Kennedy interesting is that we don't even know who his people are. right? He has his people.
They haven't come out publicly.
No, but he's still moving. And so I don't want to spend too much time. What I want to do is to show you the MPs who have declared, again, because of what Farouk told you. Now, Farouk is interesting for sentimental reasons. Farouk is the son of Aliyu Mahama. And the main argument, I've interviewed Farouk. What he tells me is that, look, is that Dankwa Buzia Dombo. Kufuor is Buzia. Akufo-Addo is Dankwa. My father is Dombo. He didn't get. Bawumia is Dombo. And I told you that the Dombo people, Abe Ifakabo, C.K. Tedam, Tolonna, J.A. Brima, I mean, these are...
From the Northern NPP.
So he believes that, Charlie, this is the time...
His grandfather is Moro Igala.
You see, so he from the left and right. That's his mother's father, right? So he's saying that this is the time to complete the equation.
Finally, Edru
Yes.
It's now...
And you know, Farouk, he doesn't hide. So
But these are Alan people
yes,
for now.
Yes, let me do Bawumia and come to Alan. Since I'm on the Farouk point. Some key people have mentioned. So here is Farouk.
Member of Parliament Yendi.
Yes.
Chairman of the Muslim caucus.
Couple of people you should watch out for. This is the majority whip. His name is Frank Anodompre.
From Eastern region.
Yes, in Salama. He is quite vocal, Bawumia.
In fact, before he publicly said he's going Bawumia, he was mooting the idea of having Bawumia and Alan run as a ticket.
Yes.
One as a running mate, one as a the candidate.
He could sense that was going to be...
He pushed the agenda. I even interviewed him on Eyewitness News.
Yeah,
I think
the agenda wasn't agenda.
So he decided, listen, let me just decide on Bawumia.
So you have Napo as well. Napo is the the
Menchia South
energy minister, former education minister. Strong character. Love him or hate him, quite a strong character.
Yeah.
So indeed, there are a lot of rumors around. A lot of the Ashanti MPs wanting to angle to be his running mate. So people are talking about Chairman Sabonsu, who is Bawumia, Joe Wise, the first deputy speaker, who is Bawumia, Education Minister Educhum, who's Bawumia, Napo, who's Bawumia. So when Farouk tells you a lot of the MPs are on his side, I can see the more prominent MPs
are on
his side. Now, in the bottom there, you have the majority deputy whip. So both whips are Bawumia whips. Right?
No, there's another deputy from East Legon, the constituency.
Yes.
Ayawaso West.
Yes.
She has
so this guy is Tolon, MP for Tolon.
Yes.
He's also Bawumia. Then, of course, Farouk Aliyu Mahama. So these are but there are a lot more.
Okay, there are more. Okay, so there are the few who we selected.
So, but Farouk says they are over 100, we don't know. Now, let's go to Alan's MPs. But the other point to notice that because his main opponents are Ashanti, you are seeing strong Ashanti people. So Educhum is there, Chairman Sabonsu, who's like the class prefect of the MPs.
So it's good for him.
There. So you get me? So there's Menchia, Bekwai, you have, Suame, all Bawumia, right? Okay. And remember he was going for a funeral and there was a bus of about 30 MPs or 50 MPs
in the Savannah region
going with him to go to the funeral. Now let's come to Alan and the MPs. Now this was an interesting one. During the march, the walk, okay, a lot of people were surprised about Abena Osei-Asare because she's the Deputy Minister for Finance.
From Etiwa.
Finance is Kenoforiata. Kenoforiata is Nana Akufo-Addo. So this was the big story. Abena Osei-Asare in the front row. OPK, everybody knows he's the MP from Price, so he's an Alan person. Carlos Ahinkra
Tema West
was saying a lot on the campaign stage that it's Alan's turn, vote for him.
He worked under Alan as deputy.
Very interesting. Sylvester Tete, MP for Botiano, English Amanfro. He was Freddie Blaise campaign manager, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean Freddie Blaise on Alan's side, but he was. And then this is Eugene Entry, who you've interviewed.
Yeah.
There's also Adomako Kisi,
yes.
the MP for, he's a doctor, he's in Anya. Adomako Kisi was also there, right? So you have some key MPs. I'm even told that Andy Appiah Akubi is also part of this. Indeed, there's a view that a lot of the MPs who said Kenoforiata should go are here.
On Alan's side.
Right? So these are no mean people. No. But I think the ladies being seen in the front row
walking at the march
was significant. But we are told that she's known Alan, her father and Alan have been close friends, and they know each other for a while. So it's not surprising to NPP people.
I see. So Sylvester Tete was a guy who has been contesting Sam George in Ingo Prampan
He
forever.
moved from east to west.
And he succeeded in the West. It
Every
tells you
picture
that
you see of Alan, you see Sylvester Tete there.
it means that the best is in the West. He went there and got the best.
The other thing I'm also told is that some of the MPs I spoke to say there are MPs who support Alan but don't want to come out yet because they feel like because their primaries will be in February, they don't want consequences.
Because the delegates who they decide, they will then say,
So they believe that there are more MPs who support Alan and even other candidates who will not necessarily come out. And indeed, the Farouk 100, he didn't give you the list.
Yeah, he didn't. When I asked him, he just mentioned briefly, but he didn't.
And again, MPs are only 100. So even having MP support, it doesn't necessarily translate into, we have 180,000 people.
That's true.
And Sandra, it's early days yet. I think we should watch out for two things. May 26, nominations open. June 24, they end. In that window, we'll know who's going to be on the ticket. Then August 26 for the 5 before November 4.